Hello again, traders. Right, this will be a ramble. This is probably take 4 or 5 of this. The idea was, well, the reason for this video came about as a result of this crazy BTC move. Because it's the weekend, it's Saturday morning, and as such I like to mess around while I get inspired by watching and learning from cryptos moving in mainly BTC. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's like watching paint dry at the weekend. Excuse me. So what happened today was I opened up the charts, I threw BTC up, I found an old set file, and my set files I need to get better organised. I am slowly getting better organised at testing stuff and getting VPSs set up and organising them properly. Although, shockingly, what has thrown me is the fact that this new robot trading stuff that I'm doing, unlike the scalping stuff that I did 18 months, 2 years ago, has turned into a monster, because this is now a excuse me, it is now a trend trading robot that trades everything. Even after spending 2 or 3 days on a pair and I think it won't work, and then I press a stupid thing like put an H4 set file on an M5 or vice versa, an M1 on a H1, and it works. So that leads me to another point I want to make before I forget. Lots and lots of what I've done in the 20 years that I've been trading has been by trial and error, and in fact mistake. Putting a BTC set file on I don't know, US Tech, say for example, or vice versa, or wrong time frames, or whatever, different brokers, and you get something like this happen. So this blew my mind this morning, because I thought that can't be right. That cannot be right. I must have, in fact I know what I did. I put a 15-minute set file on a 5-minute this morning, and this is the results. And I would never have thought to put that 15 minutes, so I could have gone the rest of my life never seeing this, unless I've made that mistake this morning. And that is one of the morals of my life, really. Just never give up. Never. I mentioned on Twitter this morning or yesterday, we never stop learning. 20 odd years I've been looking at charts, and I cannot believe, a month ago I wouldn't have even dreamt I could get this to happen. So anyway, back to the point. So the problem I had this morning was, and the reason I started to persevere with this, was that I only had data for this from the 6th of March to the current day, and I just could not believe this. So I set about a few hours, 4 or 5 hours now, excluding an hour in the pool and gym, that I've been messing around with these charts, and I thought, I watched this in live and it looked perfect, doing everything that I'd programmed the bot to do, and I still couldn't believe it. What I mean is you put it on forward testing, you can watch it on the charts. So then I set about finding a broker, and it took a while to find a broker with the right amount of data that I needed for BTC. Excuse me, I've still got the tail ends of this stupid cold. And I got some extra data, and I can get a new run out of it now. So this goes back to September, late September 2024. So still not a year, part of what I couldn't understand was why it was taking so many good trades. The previous run I'm talking about, this is horrid at the start, and I haven't optimized the previous one. And before take one of this video, I hadn't even, no, that's a lie, I had looked at what the results were. It wouldn't have been any point taking a video that ended up exploding badly. So, but it shocked me that it could take however many trades it took, a lot. It's worthwhile scalping bot on M5. Because I like to see fast results, and I like to be able to analyse those fast results. I don't want to be looking at something for 6 weeks, a losing run like this, for weeks and weeks and weeks, or months maybe. Initially, I want to be concentrating on getting things as securely as I can, making money, so I can get it onto real money testing as fast as possible now. And then I said in take whatever it was, 3 or 4, that unlike 3CR bot 18 months, 2 years ago, whatever, yeah, it will be 2 years actually thinking about it, because my whole journey with bots has been re-inspired by Onesie. We mentioned this on Twitter yesterday. Him and his train hopper EA robot, and that made me, it just got me all fired up again. You know, I was at a stage in my life where I've done the trading thing, the manual trading, so I could focus on bots, and that's what I'm doing now. Excuse me. So anyway, as you can see, this is phenomenal. Unbelievable, actually. But what this means, because what this means to me, and I thought about it while I was swimming today, if BTC can be trained, if you like, a bot can be trained to trade like that on BTC, and we're not talking about a scalping bot, as I said, we're talking about anything between I don't know, 10 candles on a 5-minute chart to 100, 150. In fact, that's going to be one of the problems highlighted to myself, is that holding trades for 150 bars or whatever, 2 or 3 days, you know, from, say, for example, on a 5-minute chart, if this was a trading chart, from here all the way up to here, is going to be very difficult, apart from having the confidence to set off. And this is another trader I greatly admire, Dean, kiss my ass, who's coded loads of stuff for us. He reignited the thought process of not worrying too much about the bot being perfect in the short term, as long as we've got loads of variations of bots all amalgamating to a long-term profit. And the point I'm trying to make is, if I'm on the golf course worried about my bot all day long, it ain't going to be very nice. It's much the same as my scalper mentality. I like to just forget about my trades the moment I've hit my take profit. Tomorrow's another trade. So I'm going to have to retrain my brain to deal with these, because someone I studied on Forex Factory, it might have been Dave C, I've mentioned him on my Twitter feed, someone that I truly believe is a profitable bot builder, just the way he talked and just the way he explained things, and that inspires me also, and also gives me the confidence, because I believe he was quite possibly where I am now in terms of confidence in the profitability of these trend trading bots. I don't think he ever said, forget about scalping bots, guys, they never equate to anything forward testing. I don't think he said that, whereas I will go as far as to say that with my limited bot knowledge, well, 20 years on and off, of not being able to get a scalping bot to work properly. I would like to say now that I think he was here and this is where we needed to be, or I needed to be. So as such, I'm very confident now that when I come out of testing mode and put these on live, things should still progress as good, if not even better than the back tests. So, and the point of explaining that is I get quite a few people think I'm actually just teasing them with everything I do. No idea why. You know, someone asked me the other day, will I be sharing live trades? And I've shared hundreds of them. Prior calls, targets and stop losses on Twitter before. But in my opinion, I don't want to be a signal seller or sharer. That's not my responsibility. Your responsibility is to do your own research and learn how to trade. I don't want to sit in a room full of people that are hanging off every word and trading my trades, copying them. That doesn't work either. I've done it. Believe me, I've tried that. You sit there and whoever it is, let's use Raja Banks as a great example of that. 15, I don't even know whether he has a live room anymore, but it was entertaining and there was a lot of good stuff going on in there. But you had, I think, at one point 1,500 people hanging off every word, and the amount of people that didn't wait for the proper entry because they're just too damn stupid and lost money because they entered too early. Maybe it was a better entry or something, they thought. In other words, getting a better price. And instead of going up that Raja was waiting for, it collapsed and they lost their money and then they're moaning. So don't even ask me to give you a live trading session because it's no good to you. It's no good to me, definitely. And so what's the point? Anyway, I've gone off track again. I said this would be a ramble. I've got a fly annoying me at the moment in front of me. So if you can hear some swishing, it's me trying to swish this fly away, but and slapping. But anyway, if this works on BTC, it'll work on anything, in my opinion. BTC is so volatile. I know when the trends go, it will trend for ages. But I don't think that's why this actual curve did such a good job. But that means, I mean, I've already got loads and loads of good results on tons of instruments. And even because I'm progressing and learning every day, or, 10 things every day, and applying 10 things to stuff I did a week ago, stuff that I didn't thought couldn't work a week ago is now working. I mean, it's crazy. Gold was driving me insane. I was producing decent results, and then I realised that because I'm hard to focus, there's so much going on, that those results were scalping again. So I had to go back to the drawing board. I promise you, this is not scalping. These are massive. Excuse me, so bunged up. But then I go back to something else like GJ and EJ because I've been distracted and gradually over-optimize stuff and get back into the scalper mode. And I've got to get out of that. But the good news is that when you do stay focused, or when I stay focused and when I realise my mission is long-term stuff, then it works on everything. So oil, you name it, anything, anything, orange juice, corn, the zlot, if there's any such currency anymore, Mexican, whatever, it will work on anything. My only limiting factor is time to test it properly. So people say you're just teasing us. No, I'm not. You know, scalping was no good. It would not work across numerous brokers. You had to refine your broker. This bot should work on all sorts of brokers. The scalping bots of the day, they worried me because if I sent them live, people would be able to unravel the way they were working, or the edge, if you liked. This thing, apart from it just naturally entering trades on a dip or like a 2B pattern or whatever, it's fairly unravelable. So I won't be worried about that. So we should be able to get it loaded up on Zulu. You know, all these different social trading sites: Zulu Trade, eToro, DarwinX, FX, MyFX Book, stuff like that. So my goal is to, for me personally, the money is great, but it's not the driving factor. I want to be able to do good. If it's no skin off my nose, if it doesn't come out of my pocket and I've not paid tax on it, in other words, if you're using this thing to trade, it wouldn't make any difference whether it's one person or 1,000 people. Really, you know, there might be problems in the future. Maybe I'm being naive, but the reason we could create, unlike let's say for example, unlike 3CR Bot 1 2 years ago, it would only work on a few indices and maybe with a lot of work on a very few. We're talking a handful of instruments in total. Then you can understand what the problem would be there. It would eventually get limited ability to trade stuff, because I imagine it would probably get banned. But this thing, it trades everything. Let's just say 100 instruments or 200 different instruments, and then each set file optimization run produces, let's say, 20 on one time frame. That is, remember, 20 working profitable set files. If you're still with me, thank you for listening, and I really do appreciate the guys, and it will be, I promise it will be worth your time listening to my rambles, because also so let's say you get 20 set files on M1, 20 unique set files, different trading patterns on M5, the same for M15, H1, M30, you know, H4, whatever. And then, so let's say that's 100, easily 100 different, and that's without tweaking, really. Easily 100 out of each instrument, and then you've got 100 instruments. You know? That is mind-blowing for me, but I think it is a reality. I always try to be pessimistic in life, you know? Optimistic with what we can achieve, but pessimistic in terms of, I don't know, in life, you know, just happiness and all that lot. Optimistic in that. But when I find something that makes money, instead of expecting to make, I don't know, $1,000 a month out of it, or 10 grand a month out of it, which in business I've always been, you have to make business plans, you have to have profitability and so on and so forth like that. So if I thought I was going to make 10k a month out of a business or whatever, profit, I would work on the presumption that it would make 5 grand. So everything else is a bonus. That's one way I've always lived my life, and you can never get disappointed then. You know, numerous businesses I've started. One, we projected 106. I remember it clearly. Sat down with a mate of mine. We projected 166,000. No, it's probably no. Actually, it wasn't that precise. We projected a couple of 100,000 in the first year, and built the business on that sort of number. we ended up doing 106. That's why I remember the number quite clearly. The first month we did £166,000 in the first month of a brand new online business, and that was the beginning of great things. So yeah, expect this to struggle and hope for the best. And on that note, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Spread it about, working. This is for me doing as much as I can for charities that will not cost me a penny, which is why I wanted to get it so I could spread it around, as opposed to a handful of things that would struggle, the old scalping bots. And that's it really. I think I've covered everything. Sorry for the ramble, but if you know me, you know I'm a rambling rambler. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend, what's left of it.